Your journey can only begin when the self-doubts stop. The first step is harnessing your bravery within. Believing in you is your host, Sean Williams.
Hello and good day to you all. My name is Sean, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another Hodge episode of Bravery Within. Today, I wanted to try to, basically make things a little bit more exciting for you today. The last couple episodes and stuff there have been a lot more serious, so this one here I wanted to try to keep a little more lighthearted. Don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I'm sure going to give it a run. So, Hodgepodge episode number 9 is called It's Okay to Be Happy. And you're probably thinking, oh, good Lord. I hope you're not listening to this in the morning because you're probably thinking, oh, I hate happy people in the morning. Well, guess what? It takes me about 2 hours to get going in the morning. I am not this happy in the morning. So just for the record, it takes me a little bit of time to put all this on. So I wanted to basically talk to you guys all today about the world. The world's tough enough as it is, and it can tear us down over time. I have been through a lot in my life, not going to lie, as all of you have. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, pain and hard times and the school of hard knocks is not unique to Sean. It's pretty much everybody that's out there, and I wanted to try to say that it's okay to be happy. It's okay to try to find a way to make yourself there basically be happier than everybody else. There's nothing wrong with that there. We've all been basically, in the world that we've created, I've noticed that it's just normal and commonplace to accept being miserable and unhappy. I see so many people walking around. I mean, I work with a couple people, and they're very miserable, they're unhappy, and they take it out on everybody else. And I don't understand why they do that when all you got to do is make a change. It may not be the best answer. It may not be the easiest, but most of your decisions aren't, especially when you're considering life-changing decisions. The decisions most of the time are actually relatively easy. The part that we get stuck up on is the ramifications. It is everything that comes after the decision. That's the hard part that is, basically tough to live with. And I've made my fair share of change. Like I've told you guys in other podcasts and stuff there, I've got 30 years of management experience. I know how to make difficult decisions. I've been through a divorce. I have been through so much stuff in my lifetime. Bankruptcy I've been through. I've been sued. I've had my wages garnished. You name it. It's pretty much, if it could happen to you, it's pretty well happened to me. So all I can say is there's lots of opportunities out there to be unhappy, to be miserable, and to take it out on other people, and that's just not okay. What we want to do now is, if you're listening to this podcast, what I want to do is build you up. I want to help you get better. I want you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know there's a lot of euphemisms here, and you're probably thinking, oh, good Lord, Sean. Okay, I'm giving up on this episode, but I'm asking you not to, because honestly, I wrote this episode with everybody in mind to try to give you a little bit of hope. It's okay to think of yourself once in a while and be happy. So this world that we have created, it's just commonplace anymore to be miserable and happy, and I don't want you guys to be that way. You're my extended family, and I want you to be happy. Now, can we be happy 100% of the time? Of course not. I am not happy 100% of the time. Just know that I'm always trying to make the attempt. Like when I'm at work and stuff there, I try to make people laugh. I try to tell jokes. I wear Hawaiian shirts that are bright and cheery. Just anything to try to, have people think, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I can smile a little bit more. Or maybe I should tell a joke or hold a door open for somebody and try to make their life a little bit better, or their day, or just the moment. You don't have to try to change their whole life, for goodness sakes. Just that moment might be enough there for them to basically... Hey, it's not so bad today. Guess what? Okay, well, maybe I'll help somebody else out. And that just turns and goes and moves forward and move forward and move forward. And I couldn't tell you how many times that I've been caught, not lately, I got to be honest with my weight loss and stuff there, when you get caught in a drive-thru and the person ahead of you pays for your order, so you pay for the next person behind you. I think that is incredibly awesome to do that. Have I gotten stuck with a $40 bill when I ordered $5 worth of food? Yes. But you want to know what? I know somebody put a smile on my face. They made me happy for paying for my lunch, so I paid for somebody else. I think that is an incredible thing to do to try to help all of us out, to try to make our days a little bit better. I've heard of many people grumble about it and so on. And it's like you're always looking at the world half empty and the glass. I try to look at it half full. Is it the easiest thing to do? Of course not. Is it something that I can do all the time? Of course not. But it's the attempt that I am doing to try to move forward and try to make other people happy, which in turn, it comes back to you. It's karma's good. I mean, karma will level the playing field if you continue to be mean and nasty and you take it out on other people. She is going to level the playing field. But if you keep yourself on the good side, you get kind of left alone. So when you do have bad days, you're probably not going to feel any retaliation. But just watch that karma, because it'll come back to get you. But just so you know, I spent decades of my life being miserable and happy. Probably the first 35 years of my life, in one way or another, I was extremely unhappy. So many things happened to me. I probably wasn't miserable because I had my son and he helped pull me through so much. I got to enjoy his school shows, his plays, he was in ROTC, he was in basketball games, football games. There's so much going on that I couldn't even hardly keep up with this kid. He's amazing. And that's what helped get me through a lot of the times when I was feeling down. And he doesn't know that, but that's things that I did that helped pull me through. This is probably a sad way of looking at it, and if my ex-wife ever hears this, she's probably going to find a way there to hire a hitman and take me out. But it wasn't until my divorce when I realized, and I had to make lots and lots and lots of changes. I was tired of being unhappy. I was tired of holding grudges that I don't even remember what I was holding the grudges for. I was tired of being miserable. I was tired of taking it out on everybody else. Now, granted, it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time to get to that point. But one thing that I realized that when I was sitting there on the very first night by myself on the couch with nothing on the walls, because I had just moved into my new place with my son after the divorce, it was just like, okay, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for me to change myself, to make things better. It didn't happen all overnight, and I said it, but I didn't do it right away. I'm not going to lie to you. It took years before I finally kicked myself in the tushy and finally said, you know what? Enough is enough. Get off your pity potty. Get off of all your grudges, get rid of them, and move on. I had found that I had allowed so many people around me, both friends and family, co-workers, even people that, because I was, over 300 pounds overweight, people that I'd run into at the store, they would make nasty comments. They would say, they give me that dirty look of, ew, I can't believe you're like out in public. I mean, come on, dude, cover it up. And I'm fully clothed, but that's the feeling I got. And I allowed those people to get to me. And all that did was enrage me. That just fueled the fury that was burning inside me after everything that I had gone through and everything that I had given up, I had worked for in my life to that point. So I basically I just hated everybody. I was very bitter. I hated everything. I just didn't care anymore. So it took some time before I finally got off my pity pot and said, you know what? This is no way to live. This is no way that I couldn't look in the mirror and be happy with who I was seeing. It was driving me crazy. So it was like, okay, I'm going to make these changes. I've had it. It's kind of like my weight loss when I just dove off the cliff, and I just, on the first day of January and stuff there in 2022, I just finally said, you know what, I'm done being fat. So all I did was the same thing with being happy. I dove off the cliff and just did it. I said, okay, I'm going to make changes to try to make myself feel better. And the hardest part is you have to make that decision. You have to actually choose to make the change. And one thing that I have learned with all the management that I've had, the jobs that I've had, people are terrified to make decisions. And it really breaks my heart because it's not that bad to make the decision. Now, it's all it's everything after that comes with it. And I think that's what scares people most is, okay, what's going to happen to me when I make these decisions? I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's like, okay, where do I start? Where do I go? So I know it's not the easiest thing to make decisions, but Nothing. There's a phrase that basically sticks in my head, and it helped me get a divorce. It helped me start my own business, even though that COVID, thank you, destroyed that. It helped me get my first home. It helped me raise my son differently than the way I was raised. And that phrase is, nothing will change until you want it to, and you make the decision to change it. That right there, to me, it rings in the back of my head all the time. If you want something different, you have to make the decision. That's just really what it comes down to. If you're not willing to make the decision, then you're going to be busy. I mean, you can't keep making the same decisions and expecting a different outcome. That's crazy. I mean, you'll go nuts long before you ever get anything, basically where you want it to be, where you're happy, where you deserve to be. Think about it that way. You deserve to be happy. I know there are times, there are ramifications, there's consequences, and there's costs to every decision we make in our life. Everyone. Now, some of them are very light. Some of them don't cost much. Others are catastrophes. I've had my credit ruined. I've lost homes. I have lost vehicles. You name it, I have lost it. I've been down that road. I can basically write a book on it if you want to, if that would make you feel better. But just keep in mind, nothing will change until you want it to. And to get yourself to a spot where you're constantly happy, where I don't know if you'll ever be fully happy at work. I don't know if you'll ever be fully happy at home. But even if you can skew the odds in your favor, so where you are happy, where you're not dreading everything all the time, then you're winning. It's okay. But keep in mind that my happiness here and everything that I'm doing didn't come overnight. I mean, there was a lot of hardships that I have overcome. I mean, I got divorced. I had a lot of, through that there, pre-marriage, and then after the divorce and everything there, I had lots of mental issues that I needed to work out. I had a lot of, basically dark spots in my mind. I mean, they were just, I needed to clean them out. I needed to start over. I needed to start fresh and let go of a lot of things. When I first moved out after the divorce, I had to work 2 and sometimes 3 jobs to make ends meet. Oh yeah, that stunk-a-roni. But you know what? I had to find a way to put food on the table. I had to find a way to pay the bills, and I had to take care of my son. Yes, it stunk, I'm not going to argue, and that's what fueled part of the bad attitude that I had during that time. I had to learn to basically live alone and being responsible for everything. I hadn't lived on my own before I met my ex-wife. We just moved in together and then created a family. So technically, I'd never lived on my own before. So this was a whole new ballgame, so it scared the heck out of me. The divorce cost me 99% of my friends. It cost me 75% of my family and the family friends that went along with it there. I had to figure out how to become a single father raising a teenager. The first thing I learned there was buy a lock for the fridge, because boy, can teenage boys eat. Holy smokes. It was like, wow, I didn't lock the fridge. Don't think I did. But I sure thought about it at times. It's like, holy cow, kid, you're killing me. My credit score went from bad to worse. Basically, you couldn't have got any worse than what I mean, you basically would have had to have dug a hole in the ground and thrown my credit score in it. That's where it was after the divorce. Food was very difficult to keep in the house due to money shortages. It was very difficult all the way. I lived in a very small and old trailer house when I first moved out that needed tons of repairs, and the previous owner never told me about. She hung me out to dry with this house, but I needed the house basically for my puppies, and I wasn't going to give them up through the divorce, and I needed a house where I could have them in it, so I overpaid for a house that I should have never bought. But you know what? I spent 10 years in the house, and I still to this day miss that place, because that was my first stepping out point. And over time, it took time, but I was so happy. I was so comfortable in that house. I loved coming home to it. It was mine. Nobody could take it away. My son and I, we had done a ton of repairs to the place. We added on a deck. We added fence. We put trees. We put shrubs. We put everything in there. We got air conditioning in there. I mean, it was so nice. I mean, we really fixed it up, and we made it our home. And that's one thing that through all of that made me happy. And I found that once you start down that road of trying to make yourself happy and putting things into place to make yourself happy, it actually just kind of just starts basically steamrolling at that point, and things get better. It all depends on how you look at the world. Sure, if I continued to look at, the world as half empty and I hated everyone and hated everything, that's a lonely, lonely world. That's a lonely, lonely life. Nobody wants to be around that 24/7. I grew up with somebody that was like that 24/7, and all he did was run us in the ground. I refuse to live that way. I never treated my son that way, and I never will treat my son or my friends or my family that way. I learned that that's just no way to live, and I'm not going to live that way. But one thing that you're probably thinking out there, okay, you've listened to all this so far, and you're sitting there going, Sean, what is wrong with you? Why did you go through all that? And the first thing you really should ask me is, was it worth it? And the answer is a resounding yes. There is nothing I would trade for my happiness. Well, I guess to keep my son happy, I guess I probably would do that, darn kids. But everything else, I do everything in my power to protect my good energy. I protect my happiness. I protect my home. I take care of my family. I go to work. I work 40 hours a week. I pay my bills. And you know what? I am happier now than I have been through in the rest of my entire life. I loved having my own business, don't get me wrong. I miss the artisans I got to work with. There are some amazingly talented people in my area, and they made beautiful, beautiful works of art. They're incredible, and I'm hoping someday to reopen the shop and be able to say, bring your stuff back in, because we were doing good. If COVID hadn't hit, the shop would have been huge, and we would have been hugely successful. The problem is COVID took all my customers away because everybody was afraid to go out, and then there went the business right down the drain. So, but would I change anything? No. The only, really, it would be nice to have my own business again and have my home again. But there's a reason why I basically lost everything for like a third time. But the thing that I'm learning is it's how you pick yourself up and how you get back basically on your feet. And honestly, I don't know if I would be doing the podcast. I don't know if I would have lost all the weight, the over 200 pounds I have on my way to losing 350 pounds off of me. I don't know if I would have done that if I would have stayed where I was at, because there was no reason for me to make those decisions. So probably in many ways, I guess it helped. I mean, I lost a lot of money, lost the time, I lost everything. But in some respects, I'm gaining a lot back. I'm learning who I am. I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. Every day as I keep pushing on. Is there lots going on in my life? Of course. Is there things I'd like to change to make better? Of course. But like I said, like I've told you in many, many other podcasts, I am a work in progress, guys. I don't have it all figured out. I've made my fair share of bad decisions. I have made my fair share of bad, enemies. I mean, trying to figure out how to get through this crazy, crazy life. And I know not everybody out there likes me. That's just the way it is. Nobody ever will everybody will not completely like you. So I had to deal with that. So the first thing that I had to do, and without being narcissistic or self-centered, I had to figure out, how am I going to make myself happy? So there's some things that you have to weigh in before you make huge decisions. Now, granted, it's easier for me because it's just me. I live alone. I mean, I don't have anybody else in my life. So when I make life-altering decisions, it's just me. I do weigh in and stuff there. My son does live with me, so I have to be careful with the decisions I make with him, because I don't want to lose a house where he has no place to live. I want to make sure Willow has some place to live. But there are some people out there that are so miserable day in and day out, and they absolutely refuse to make any changes, and they take it out on everybody around them. You say good morning, and all they do is growl at you or give you a snotty look. You try to talk to them a little bit during the day, they give you a snotty look, or they walk away and they don't even acknowledge you. And to me, that's just mean. There's no reason to be that way. There's no reason to be that spiteful, that hateful. I mean, get over yourself. I mean, come on. We got the rest of the world that we need to pull together and help each other out. And by doing that, being happy, you're going to spark somebody else's happiness in some way. But I've never basically figured out, why do people want to do that way? Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did figure that out. It's because they're too scared to make the decision to make their own lives happy instead of taking it out on somebody else. So if you're the one that's walking around and being a grump butt all day, guess what? You're going to have people that aren't going to want to be around you. Try to find a way to be happy. Find something in your life that brings you happiness. It doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be expensive. You'd be surprised on how many little things in my life that make me happy, and they don't cost anything. I mean, when I get to sit out and sit at the table, and I get to spend time with my family, and we play cards, and we talk like we would make a sailor blush. Let's just be honest. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We have so much fun. We have some food, we have some drinks, Mountain Dew for me and water for my friend, and basically whatever my son drinks, which is a lot of water. We're not we don't go crazy by any means, but those are the times, and they don't cost anything. We sit around, we already bought the cards. There's some of the card decks that we've used for years, and we've never had to rebuy them again. But that's the things that we do, is we try to help each other out. We try to build each other up. Yes, we come in and we grumble and gripe about our jobs. We grumble and gripe about our life, or whatever it is that's irking you at the time. But then we move on, and we're all smiles. We crack jokes. We bust on each other. It's so much fun, and that's what you have to do. But before you can get to, it took a long time to get to that point. But if you want to get to that point, which I am begging you to get to that point, you have to make big decisions. Just know there are ramifications, there are consequences and costs to every decision you make in life. And that's going to happen before you get to, basically take up space in happy land. I want you to get there, and you can get there. You deserve to get there. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to think nothing is ever going to 100% go your way. Most of us are never going to be rich. Let's be honest. To me, being rich is I have my health. I have my house. I have my puppy. I have my friends. I have my family. And it's the people in my life that I want in my life. If I don't want you in my life, you're not going to be in it. If I've invited you into my house, I want you in my life. That's what it all comes down to. And I have learned through hardship, through the school of hard knocks, just getting my front teeth kicked in, just saying, okay, you know what? I am done trying to make unhappy people happy. I am done trying to make narcissists like me. I'm done with that. You're not worth my time. That's what it all comes down to. And that's what you have to tell yourself too, is because these people will drain the life out of you. It doesn't matter if they're family. It doesn't matter if they're friends. It doesn't matter if they're colleagues. It doesn't matter if they're coworkers. Whatever it is, you have to protect your good inside energy. That's what it all comes down to, so you can be happy. So just know that, when you're making decisions, there might be outcomes that you didn't see when you were making those decisions, but you still have to make them. You still have to live with those decisions. Granted, most of the time, they're easy to live with. I'm not arguing that point. There's a lot of decisions I make that, I guess that cup of coffee didn't work, or I didn't like that supper or whatever, so it cost me a few dollars. But there's other decisions when I'm going to move. I'm going to choose a new job. I'm going to buy a new car. Whatever it is, those are huge, buy a new phone anymore. Good Lord, they're expensive. I was just down at my cell service and stuff there and looked at it, and really $1,000 for a phone? Are you nuts? What? I'm not sure what you guys are smoking, but you need to share some with me so that way I can swallow the $1,000 bill to get a new cell phone. But watch the outcomes that come out of it. You may end up hurting people due to your decisions. I hurt a lot of people when I got divorced. I hurt a lot of people pushing them out of my life and just saying, you know what, I don't need you in my life. If you're not going to build me up, you're not going to support me, you're not going to be there when I need you the most, I don't want you in my life. That's what it all comes down to. I used to try to do whatever it could to try to make these people like me, and I finally figured out, you know what, you are nothing but an energy vampire to me. I don't need you in my life. I'm moving on. Is it hard? Yes, absolutely. Did it break my heart on some of them? Absolutely. I miss a lot of good people that were in my life. But if you're not going to support me and build me up, I don't want you in my life, because that's all I do with you. I want to be there for you. You call me, boom, I'm there in an instant. Don't even have to worry about that. I'm in my truck driving. Wherever it is, I'm on my way. If you need money, I have loaned out thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I have donated food. I have donated clothes. I have done whatever it can to help my family and friends out. But at some point, you have to cut your losses and say, you know what, I'm done. I am not listening to this. I am not putting myself through it. I need to protect myself, and that's what I've done. So sometimes you end up hurting people before, due to your decisions. And that's just life. You don't want to, not in any way, shape, or form, but sometimes they're hurting you by what they're doing, by destroying you and tearing you down. It's time to cut your losses. You could end up what-ifing yourself into the ground before you make the decision. The what-if paradox is horrible. It stinks. And I do it constantly. I'm getting better at it where I don't what-if everything. One thing you learn as a manager is once you make the decision's done. You have to live with those ramifications. You have to live with those consequences. And good or bad, you have to live with them. And that's what scares most people is it's the bad ones that you have to live with. Guess what? I haven't made every right decision as I've been in management. Some decisions cost me my job. I've lost 2 jobs because of it. But you know what? I know I made the right decision, and if the boss didn't like it there, then too bad, so sad. Guess what? I took my talent someplace else, and I enhanced that company. And that's what I do. There could be huge after effects that you never intended to happen. There are times where you just can't predict what's going to happen. You can take your best educated guess, but guess what? You can't figure it all out. Last time I checked, you can't read the future. I can't read the future. I'd love to read the future, but I can't do it. So you just sometimes, once you make the decisions, you do it. But just know you have to make them. Most people get stuck at that point and they never move on. They're happy being miserable. Oh, well, something will happen or, something will change it for me. No, guess what? We have one run at this life. Some of us have a very short life, unfortunately, and we miss those people. Some of us live until we're 90. It just depends. But as long as you're on this blue marble that we call home, you need to make decisions to make yourself happy. I just do my very best that when I make the decisions, I don't do it at the cost of the people I love and people I know. But sometimes you have to make that decision. That's just the way it is. There's just, there's no getting around it. That's just making a decision. That's having free will to make decisions. I mean, that is an incredible power and gift that we have. Start using it. That's all I can say on that one there. Some of the people that have told me why they won't make a decision, some of the excuses that I've heard are, what if I make the wrong one? Well, guess what? Everybody makes a wrong one at some point. There is no way that you're 100% correct on your decisions. Never. Nobody is. We're not perfect. We're not designed to be perfect. We never will be perfect. What if I do more harm than good? Well, guess what? Sometimes that is. The trick is not to, but sometimes you do. There's you can't take into account everything. You try your hardest. I know you do. But when it comes to your happiness, I'm sorry. I don't sacrifice that anymore. I need to be happy because, you know what? I have to live with myself. I have to look in that mirror and be happy with a man that's looking back at me. And if I'm not, I have to make those decisions and those changes to make myself happy again. What if I can't take it back? There is no decision in the world that you can't take back. None. Once you make the decision, it is over. The best that you can do is if it was a wrong one, admit that you did it, own up to it, fix it, and move on. Sometimes, like I said, I have lost jobs over decisions that I have made. I have lost friends over decisions I have made. Do I regret those? Most of them? No, I don't, because I made the decision and it was the best decision that I could make with the information I had at the time. That's all you can do. What if it cost me my job or marriage? Like I just said, don't worry. I know that's harsh. I know that's cold. I want to see every marriage win. I want to see every married couple make it and be married for 75 years. I want to see you stay at the same job for 50 years, dedicated to that employer that actually gives a crap about you. But it just doesn't happen. Sometimes you have to make the decision to make the change. What if it costs me all that I have? Let me tell you this. It has cost me everything that I had. When I went through the divorce, I went $40,000 in debt. I took all the bills with me. I lost everything. I mean, everything. You name it. It was all taken away from me. Family, friends, money, credit rating, food, stability, everything. It was all gone. But you know what? My happiness is worth every penny of it. My son is healthier. I'm healthier. And we are in a better place because of that decision. Did I get kicked in the teeth a few times? Absolutely. I lost most of my friends because they decided they didn't want to be around me, or they went with her, or whatever the reason was, they just left. And I don't need people like that in my life. That's just what it comes down to. If you don't want to stand by me when it's my darkest time and when I need you the most, I don't need you in my life, and I am not going to allow you back in when things are cruising along good. I am not personally a fair weather friend. If I choose you as to be a friend, I am through you, with you, thick and thin. It does not matter what happens. I am there step by step, right beside you, and I will help take care of you. I will do whatever I can, and I expect the same in return. But that's why I don't allow many people into my life, because it's that kind of dedication. It costs a lot, but I'm happy to pay it. I'm happy to donate it. The people that are in my life, I want my life. I am extremely lucky for the people that are in my life. I love them all. I take care of them all, and I would die for every single one of them without question. So it takes time to get those kind of people in your life and to make those kind of decisions, but those are huge, huge decisions. But my happiness is worth it, because when I'm happy, I can make them happy. I can be there for them. I can help bail them out when they're having problems, or if they need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here. It's no problem. Just know that, it's hard, but your happiness is worth it. That's all I can say, folks. Do whatever you can to be positive, to, basically make yourself a better person. Take the high road. It's a lonely road, not gonna lie. But you know what? At the end of the day, when I can look in that mirror and I see the man looking back to me and I can be happy with who I see, then I know I've made the right decisions. I know I've went down the right road. I know I helped everybody. I've stopped along the road and helped people. I've helped people that are stuck in a ditch, stuck in the mud, stuck in snowbanks. You name it. I mean, when somebody was hungry, I have bought them supper. I have bought our law enforcement officers when they're at the convenience store. I have bought them whatever they were buying at the time. If they were in a restaurant, I have bought their supper. My son has done the same thing many times, over and over and over and over again. He is a remarkable, remarkable young man. He makes me so proud every day. I don't know where he got it all from, but he is amazing. I'm so proud of him, and there's nothing I would ever give up, to keep him safe. I mean, everything I'd give up, I guess I should say. I'd give up everything to keep him safe, keep him happy, keep him warm, keep him fed. But I know most people aren't that way, which is really sad, because there's so many good people out there. There's so many good people that want to help, but they're so used to getting stomped on and abused and used until they got nothing left, and then they become the bad guys when they say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Those are the narcissists that are after you. Don't worry about losing those people. I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to be that way. I'm not trying to be negative anyway, but us good people, you just get tired of always being basically taken advantage of. So after I got rid of all those people out of my life, I'm at a point now where everybody that's in my life, I want in my life, and I am so blessed that they are in my life. There's nothing I wouldn't do to keep them in my life and keep them safe. Would I go back and stay in an unhappy marriage? Absolutely not. Would I go back to the job that gave me 2 heart attacks and didn't value me after 13 years as an employee and a manager? Oh, heck no. Would I go back to some of the people that I dated in the past? Absolutely not. Have I made all the right decisions in my life? Absolutely not. But you know what? I have owned up to every one of those decisions, and I have lived with the consequences. And to me, that makes you strong. That gives you the integrity where people will see that and they go, hey, that's somebody I want to be around. That's somebody I know will have my back. If I ask them a question or if I get into trouble, you know that they're going to be there for you. And that's the person that I wanted to become. It took me a long time. I had those characteristics. I had those morals. I had those values inside of me. The problem is I had too much hate, doom, and gloom, and everything else that was blocking that from me from being a better person. And I just finally got to the point and I said, enough is enough. Get out of my life. I did whatever it took. Basically, I reinvented myself. If you really want to figure out what I did, I reinvented myself. I became a different person. And my closest friends and family have told me, even as much as 5 years ago, I'm not the same person. I'm completely different. And to me, that's a compliment, because now I get to be the man that I want to be, with honor and integrity and loyalty and love. That's what all these people that are in my life, that's what they get. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them. And when I invite you into my life, know that basically I will live, eat, breathe, and die for you at that point. That's why I don't let many people in my life. But I'm happier because of it, and I help everybody that I can. There's these guys that I talk to every morning at the convenience store when I go in and get my Mountain Dew. Yes, Mountain Dew. And my breakfast. These guys are amazing. They're in their 60s and 70s, they are fantastic. They're so much fun to talk to, and the knowledge that I get from them, and as soon as I walk in, they start throwing barbs at me and I throw them back, and that's the kind of relationships that I try to nurture, try to culture, try to do the best that I can to protect, and they have so much fun. I look forward to it every morning, seeing them, because it's so much fun to give them a little bit of guff. They give me a little bit of guff. There's people in the convenience store when I go in, they all holler out my name and stuff there, and they start giving me a hard time, I give it back to them. That's what helps jumpstart me, and that's the kind of culture that I want to live in. So I did everything I could to basically build and nurture that kind of culture. Now, can you have that in every store you go in? Of course not. But you have your favorite places to go. You have your favorite people you get to see. And that's, I'm trying to build the world that I would wish that I could live in full time. Now, is that kind of wishful thinking? Probably. Can I change the problems of the world? No. Can I change the country? Absolutely not. But you know what? I can change my little corner of the world. And if that means being excited and being happy to see people and being there for them, that's what I want to do, because it puts a smile on their face. It helps them get through the day. And they've all told me that they enjoy seeing me come in. They've told my son, he goes into the same place and he hears it all the time. And I'm not trying to be popular. That's the last thing I want to be. All I want to do is try to spread a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy, a little bit of fun, to try to make everybody's life just a little bit better. That's what I try to do at work all the time. I have people that come into my office, they sit down and they talk, and a lot of them, the first thing out of their mouth is they're already throwing jokes at me, they're throwing barbs at me. It's fun. We razz each other back and forth. But to see the smile on their face and to know that I'm making a little bit of a difference and trying to make their day a little bit better, phenomenal. That's what it's all worth. So I want to live in that kind of world. So that is the kind of world that I am trying to build, and I try to be very careful with it every single day. Basically, once you start making the hard decisions and getting your life where you want it to, it's a huge change. Just know I'm not rich, not by any way, shape, or form. I struggle to pay the bills every month. That's just me. That's just where I am. I don't make millions of dollars. I don't have some big fancy piece of paper hanging on the wall saying, "Hey, guess what? You should be making $700,000 per minute." I don't get those kind of things. I didn't go to school. I didn't put the work in for that one there. I wanted to be a teacher in the worst way, and I dropped out of college. It's my own fault. That's a decision I made, and it wasn't a good one. It was a horrible one. It was a dumb one, and I should have changed, and I should have went back to school. I just never did. Do I have the house that I want? No, because I want a cabin in the hills someday, and I'm going to get it somehow, some way. I'm going to get that cabin. Do I have the job that I want? No, because I want to own my own business, but I do my absolute 100% at my job every day. I do my very best never to let my boss down. If they ask for something, I am there. If they need something, I am there. I try to anticipate their needs, so that way things just go better. I try to improve basically how we do things. It doesn't always work. They're not receptive to it all the time, but hey, you know what? I keep trying. That's all I can say on that one there. But really, I'm thankful and grateful for all I have in my life and everybody that I do have in my life. I have some great, amazing people that I work with. They are hard workers. They are living paycheck to paycheck. They're in there every day, nose to the grindstone, getting the job done. They are amazing. If somebody needs help, they're the first ones to jump in and help them out, be there for them, do whatever they can. They're great, great people. That's all I can say there. But one thing that I can tell you is don't rely on somebody else to make you happy or bring happiness into your life. You have to find a way to make yourself happy. Now, granted, is it nice to have somebody to come home to or somebody really, really close that you can spend time with? Absolutely. We're meant to be with, hanging out with somebody, friends, or, whatever it is, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, you name it. A lot of people believe in that. And that's what we're supposed to be. We're very social creatures. And it's really, really nice. But if you're an introvert like me, the silence and being away from everything speaks volumes. I don't need anybody else in my life that is going to try to drag me down, try to change me. Don't even think about trying to change me. I am who I am, and I have worked very, very hard to get to be the person that I am today. And I'm proud of who I am. Do I have everything? Am I living on the rich side of town? No, absolutely not. Am I making tons and tons of money? No. But you know what? I know what it's like to be down and out. I know what it's like to be kicked when you're down. I know what it's like there to have nothing. But I have built myself back up again. I have taken care of my family. I have paid my bills, and I have showed up to work constantly. So don't let anybody take away those kind of accomplishments and that kind of happiness from you. You deserve to be happy. That's what it all comes down to. And it comes down to making the right decisions. And like I said, you don't always make the right ones, but sooner or later, you're going to start making a lot of them, and then you're going to start swaying the odds in your favor. So that's what you have to do. It's amazing once you start down that road, but you have to make the decisions first, and you have to, basically be held accountable for those decisions. They're not all going to be right. I can't stress that enough, and that's why I've said it 600 times in this podcast. Make the decisions and live by them. Own up to them, fix it if you have to, and then move on. Don't keep dragging it up. One thing I learned in management, once I made a decision, I don't go back and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I should have done this, or maybe I should have done that. The decision's made, I live with the consequences, and I move on. And I take whatever punishment, or I've never really gotten a lot of good stuff out of it, but a lot of punishment for my decisions. Keep in mind, too, if you've got a lot of negative people, dark people, people taking your energy away from you, you don't need them in your life. If you have to have them in your life, limit the time that you're with them. You have to protect you. You have to look out for you. And that's not being narcissistic. I thought it was when I was growing up. I thought for sure, oh, well, you're just self-centered. You're just thinking of yourself. You're not. You're protecting your good energy. You're protecting everything about you, so that way you can stay happy. I have plenty of people that are negative, and there's people that I work with that I would love absolutely to drive off a cliff because they are just nasty. But you know what? I find everything that I can to try to stay positive, and I just limit the time that I have to be around them, and things are okay. Sure, they're still kind of, they are them. I can't change them, and I refuse to try to change them. That's what it all comes down to, and I won't be. I'm not going to let them drag me down because of it. So if they want to be miserable and take it out on their family, friends, and other coworkers and employees, fine. If that's what you want to do, you go right on ahead. But you're not going to take it out on me, and you're not going to stop me from feeling the way I feel and being the way I am. So that's one thing. Just remember, be happy with all the little things in life. Sometimes it takes all those little things to add up to one big thing, but those little things are what pull you through in those very, very difficult and tough times. There's times when I look around and I think, oh man, I watch the little birds that I feed in the parking lot every day. I feed them in the morning, I feed them in the afternoon, I make sure I take crackers, I take leftover bread for them, I throw it in the parking lot and I watch them and I talk to them. I've been doing it so long now, they're not scared of me anymore. They'll come up to within a couple feet of me and not even balk, which is really, really awesome because they know I'm not going to hurt them. I look at the flowers, I look at the hills and the mountains. Call me whatever you want to call me, but let me tell you this, all of that stuff there will bring you a lot of happiness if you let it into your life and you start seeing it. We all drive through, you drive down the road, you ignore everything. There's so much beauty out there that's free to see, and let it basically make it part of you, because there's so much positive energy in nature. It'll really help you through the dark times. It'll help you make those decisions. Your furry loved ones, or if you like snakes or reptiles or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the ones that you love. They're your pets. Love them. Take care of them. Seeing the sunrise or sunset, it's amazing how breathtaking that is if you haven't done it lately. Remember, you got your health. You have your best friend. You have, some of you have kids. I mean, I'm lucky and I have a kid. Those are all things that you have to be thankful for, and they're there always for you to enjoy. So do your best there to always look at the bright side. I know it seems kind of like, okay, Sean, what are you smoking? Is there a gas leak in your house or what? No, there isn't, I have to admit, and I do all of this stuff, I'll be honest. That's what helps keep me happy. That's what helps keep the positivity going. Right now, Willow's laying on the carpet right now, out cold, upside down. And to me, I love it. She's absolutely gorgeous, and I couldn't imagine my life without her anymore. My son will be home soon. I can't imagine my life without him. I'm so grateful that he allows me to be part of his life. He doesn't have to be. He's grown up. He doesn't have to have me in his life, but he chooses to have me in there, so I do everything I can to protect that. I do everything to protect him. And that's what brings me happiness, and that's what can bring you happiness. Just know you deserve it. Don't let anybody tell you that. but don't let anybody guilt you into feeling, oh, you shouldn't be happy. What's wrong with you? I mean, stop looking, this is going to happen or that can happen, or what if this or what if that? Well, you know what? You have all kinds of time for that. But remember, you've only got one run at this life. So if that means you want to go out and get a tattoo, go get a tattoo. You want to have a candy bar, have a candy bar. Just remember moderation on that stuff, like me with my weight loss. Me having a Mountain Dew. That's one of the little things in my life. I swore that even on my weight loss journey, I'm not giving that up because that makes me happy. I don't drink as much of it as I used to, but it makes me happy. Having those, those little things, the meat stick or the cheese, or you sit out on the deck and watch the birds in the birdhouse and the feeder, or you just watch people driving by because they're involved in their own lives. They're doing their own thing. Those are all the little things that, just keep an eye on. But don't feel guilty about being happy. Don't feel guilty about wanting to be happy and giving happiness to other people. Don't let them guilt you into that. Guilt is horrible. There's no way for it. And if they're going to guilt you into it, you don't need them in their life. Get rid of them, move on. That's what I have done. And there's probably been, people there that I have moved on from. They're going to look at me and go, yeah, what a jerk. Well, you can call me whatever you want. I was a bill collector for 20 years. Trust me, there's nothing you're going to call me that I haven't been called already. So I've accepted it. I'm fine with it. And I am who I am. And I'm not going to change for anybody. And that's what I want you to get to. But I didn't do it at the sacrifice of somebody else. I made my own decisions. I made my happiness. And I don't rely on anybody to make me happy. But do I have people in my life that do make me happy? Absolutely. I wouldn't trade them for all the world. But just know that, when it comes down to it, you're just responsible for your own happiness and you deserve it. Don't let anybody tell you any different because I was raised that, you shouldn't be happy, you need to be miserable, you need to be working all the time. I just refuse to be that way anymore, and I'm not. I'm 48 years old and I'm done with that. I have been happy now in the past 10 years. I've improved on myself. My mental status is so much better. I've purged myself of all the hateful things that I've done, the grudges that I have done. I'm done with it. I'm just moving on, and whatever will be, will be. And I just make the most of it, and I make the best of it. So just know you're meant to be happy. Don't think of any other way about it. You are meant to be happy, and it's okay to be happy, and don't feel guilty about it. So I'm going to end the podcast there because I'm looking at the time on the monitor, and I'm pretty well burned it all up for the day. So remember, you got this. You deserve to be happy, and you got it. I believe in you. I know you're going to get there. And if you have any questions or you need anything, shoot me an email at seangmorris@gmail.com. You're welcome to contact me anytime. I'll help wherever I can to try to make things a little bit better if I can, or give suggestions. It doesn't matter. Being that you're listening to this podcast, take a moment to hit like. Hit share. Make sure you share everything. Comment, please. I can't stress this enough because that helps move me up in the algorithms, and that allows me to bring more family members on. You're all my extended family. I want to make sure that you're all happy, and I'm doing everything I can to try to help you out. But to do that I want to try to grow the audience a little bit more to try to help them. So make sure you hit like, you share, you comment, you follow my Facebook page, whatever the term is on basically wherever you're listening to. Do what you can. Put 5 stars in there if that's all right with you and stuff, to say, hey, this is a great thing. You need to listen to it. That's all I ask out of it there. I hope you get something out of these podcasts. I hope it's something that you value and you're enjoying. Thank you so much for everything that you do and supporting me. It's amazing. I can't ask for more than that. So I'm going to end the podcast with the normal dad joke of the day. I think this is a pretty good one here. So here we go. Do you know which days are the strongest? Saturday and Sundays. The rest are weekdays. Yeah, let the eye rolls begin. I know it's going to happen. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Thank you so much for telling everybody about it. You guys mean the world to me. I know you got this. You're going to get through the day there, and you'll be able to tackle tomorrow with ease. Thank you so much, and as always, all my love and support, Sean.